Here's how to properly use a lead vendor for your window company and actually get the most out of it. And hey, I'm Carl Stoy, the founder of Stoy Media. And over the past year and a half, almost 2 years now, we've been helping service businesses scale by filling up their pipeline, getting them more leads, getting them more homeowners. And hey, the thing is, if you cannot properly use a lead vendor for your window company, no lead sources are going to work. And I don't say this simply because, I want to just promote agencies, I want to promote lead vendors, I want to take your money. No. The biggest companies in your market are marketing at this current moment. And so if it works for them, it can work for you. You just haven't figured it out yet. And if it is currently working for you, here's how to optimize your systems so that any lead vendor you use as a window company, you can get the most out of. And so let's talk about it. There's 2 specific tips I want to give you. And number 1, that's processes. If you do not have good processes in your company, then it's just not going to work out. And so let's talk about it, because you need 2 specific ones, and that's your set process. So appointment setting, meaning your call centers are calling them, your dedicated receptionist is calling them, and your sales processes. Now, I can give you a couple tips for your setting process. I can't give you tips on the sales process because at the end of the day, I haven't ran any window appointments, but we are a marketing company. And so we know a thing about marketing and setting appointments. So I'll give you a couple tips about setting, but I can tell you the biggest pitfall is sales processes. Anyone can set appointments. Anyone can call a lead within 30 seconds, text them a couple times, follow up with them, and get at least a 30% set rate. If you're not getting a 30% set rate, there may be something wrong with the lead vendor or your processes. So we're going to talk about good setting practices, and if you're not following these, it may be your fault. And it's important that you have humility and point at yourself and say, maybe I'm the problem. So I see the biggest pitfall being sales, and it causes us to be in a bad light because we'll work with a company that can't properly sell windows or roofs or whatever they're doing, and then blame it on us because the leads are unqualified. And so I really urge you, if you're seeing a really bad drop-off in sales, there's plenty of problems that it could be, like pricing, like training, like commission, something like that. And so I urge you to, if it's a sales problem, that you seek other help. But here's a couple tips for setting so that you can get the best set rates from all the leads you get. Because if I deliver you 100 leads and you have a 10% set rate, that's going to make your cost per acquisition, your cost per getting a project, insanely high. So here's a couple tips for setting, and I'm going to give you 3. If I can think of the 4th one, I will give that one to you too. But number 1, I've already talked about it. Calling within 30 seconds. Speed to lead. I made a different video on this channel called Calling Within 5 Minutes is Outdated, because it is. The advice that you should call your leads within 5 minutes came out in 2007. That's almost 19 years ago. TikTok came out in 2012, and now to this current day, 60% of the global population uses short form content every single day, meaning they're watching 30 to 90 second clips every single day, or at least bi-daily. I mean, it's nuts, okay? And it's really addicting. I have to say, like personally, it's pretty addicting. And it's really bad because it ruins their attention span. So if you think that you can still call within 5 minutes when that advice came out 19 years ago, no way you can call within 5 minutes today. You need to be calling within 3 seconds even, not 30 seconds. Call within 3 seconds. There should be no reason why a lead comes in and it doesn't get called within an hour. If you do not call leads within 5 minutes at the max or 3 seconds at the least, if you can't do that, don't buy leads. Flatly. If you can't call within 5 minutes at the maximum, do not buy leads. All you're going to do is waste your money, blame it on us, and then try with someone else. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to call them within an hour, wonder why no one answers, and the same thing is going to happen. So I urge you, if you can't call within 5 minutes, don't waste your money. Fix these processes before you buy leads. I can tell you that just truthfully. All right? Number 2, make sure you have a good phone system. So we're going to just say phone system for short, but a good phone system is really simple. It just means that your phones aren't showing up as spam and you have a caller ID that says, your company. So meaning when you call someone, it doesn't say suspected spam, and when you call them, it says XYZ Windows or whatever your company name is as the caller ID. Now there is a step in front of that, which having a good follow-up process, meaning as soon as they come in, you send them a text. You send them a text at least 3 times in the first day, at least 3 times in the second day, and then 1 time for 3 more days, meaning a 5-day follow-up process. Your very first text to make sure you can improve your set rate, your answer rate, because as long as you can get someone on the phone, you're going to turn them into an appointment, right? Unless they said something like, I'm not interested, who are you? Which normally those answers where they say, who are you? They don't know you, they don't even know that they submitted this, is because you called them too late. That's usually why, or if it was the wrong phone number. But if it was the right phone number and you call within 5 minutes max, they get on the phone, they're going to turn to a booked appointment. So we want to make sure you increase the chances that you get on the phone. And one of those is, of course, not showing up as spam, which is pretty easy. You just see if the phone number is showing up as spam by, a customer may tell you, or if you see a steep drop off in answer rates, it's usually a reason that the phone number is burnt and you just need to get a new one. But if you want to take that a step further, what you can do is before you call them, you send a text saying, hey, this is Carl Stoy from XYZ company. I'm going to just give you a call here in a moment to schedule you in for that free window consultation. And what that does is, because you said your first name, or because the appointment setter said their name, when they call, it's going to say maybe, and then that call center person's name, making it more likely for them to answer because maybe they know this person. So that's a third tip. Now, the fourth one is simply to just, well, actually I can't even think of it right now. So sorry, you're not going to be able to get this one. I made different videos on how to increase your answer rates, your set rates. So go check out those videos. But these are the 3 tips, with literally this being the most important one. So as long as you can call within 3 minutes, I have seen 40, 50, 60% set rates. Imagine you and your competition get 100 leads over the course of a month. You have a 60% set rate and your competition has a 30% set rate. Off of spending the exact same amount of money, you have gotten double the appointments and double the sales. Because if you have a 30% close rate, well, that's double the sales. So booking double the appointments means even more for you. And so it's really important that you audit the entire process from new lead to sale and just see what all the numbers are like. 30% set rate. Okay, it could be way better than that, because if you double that set rate, you get double the appointments, you get double the sales, you double the business. Okay? So it's really important that you look at the entire process of, what is my cost per lead? What is my set rate? What is my close rate? What is my average ticket? What is my, whatever. Look through all the numbers and just see, where can I fix this? Set rate, close rate, average ticket. And I don't at all condone gouging people out of prices at all. So I would say look at the set rate and the close rate and just see what you can do with those. Now, the second one, to make a lead vendor as good as possible, is just scale where it works and cut out where it doesn't. It's very simple. So scale when working, it's very simple, when working, and cut losses, we'll say. So if you see that you've onboarded a new lead vendor and they're getting only a 10% set rate, you're doing all this right here, you're still calling within 3 seconds, you still got a decent phone system, you've got a good follow-up process, but they're getting a 10% set rate, cut them out. Cut them out. If something is working, let's say you're getting a good set rate, good close rate, it's simply just a matter of time in order for you to get to your goal or wherever you want to get to. If it's simply just a matter of time, just spend more. I've made a totally different video called Contractor Math. I recommend you check it out on this channel from me. It's essentially, here's where you want to get to. What's your average ticket? What's your set rate? What's your close rate? What's your cost per lead? And then how much would it require you to spend in order to get to this number? And so if something is working, just keep spending more. Now, make sure you have at least, some eggs in your basket. Don't have 10 lead vendors and don't only have 1 lead vendor. You could have 2, you could have 3. But that's usually where I'd recommend that you sit around. You don't want to have I don't know what it's specifically called, but you don't want to have just one lead vendor, because if something happens, they get a little shady, something happens, like that's going to fully drop off. If you have one in-house media buyer and he gets sick, he quits, he leaves, something happens, you're kind of done. So you also don't want to have 10, because if you have 10, well, what is the point? I just don't get it. Why wouldn't you just keep 3 or 4 that are very good and just keep spending more with them? I don't get it. So I would just say it's really simple, but at the end of the day, the simple stuff is what causes your company to scale. You want to get to wherever you want to get to, you just have to do the simple stuff over and over and over and over. And so the simple stuff is just spend more where it's working, spend less where it's not. That's it. And if you have any comments, drop a comment. And if you are a window company looking to partner with a lead vendor like Stoy Media and potentially work with us to get more leads on a pay-per-lead basis, then click the link in the description, fill out some basic business information, schedule a call, and I'll see you there.